Greetings, everyone. Welcome to what I like to call the chickens coming home to roost. Okay? Now, we've got a lot to discuss. I'm going to wait for everybody to come in. I did some homework. We got some juicy stuff, but I wanted to, always like to go in depth. We haven't went in depth. We got some global news to discuss today that I want to touch bases on in regards to Turkey. I researched that conflict, and I want to kind of give everyone or at least share my understanding of what it is. Also, too, bitch, what we've been talking about all day. The people are trying to leave the country. They're trying to get the hell out of Dodge. Let me say hi. What's going on, Natasha? Linda in Brooklyn. Darlene, what's going on, my love? Leon's here. Andre. Oh, London in the building. Okay, London. Come through, London. Okay. Pam, what's going on, Pam, in Pittsburgh? TM, what's going on, girl? Troy, Lynn, what's going on, Troy? How are you guys doing? So, I'm getting back into reading because it's so much reports and stuff. I'm not per se reading books, but there's so many reports that I have to dissect. I'm going to wait a few more moments for a few more folks to get in, and then we're going to just jump right into it because this one is quite lengthy, and I also want to watch the presidential town hall that's going on tonight for the LGBTQ town hall with all of the Democratic presidential candidates, which is weird because I feel like, at least in national news, I feel like the past couple of weeks, the actual presidential race has taken a back seat to all of this impeachment stuff, which is understandable. But we still have to remember that we have a presidential race coming up. But it looks like a few folks are here. I'm going to just go ahead and get started. Hey, Mika, what's going on? Sunny, Carolina in the building. London is here. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. So, bitch. So, first off, Giuliani. Okay. So, Giuliani, two Florida businessmen who helped Giuliani in Ukraine, arrested on campaign finance charges. See, this is the thing. People you always got to follow the money. We done watched enough of these motherfucking mobster movies and Netflix originals, bitch, that we know. It's always the goddamn money. It's like, if it ain't an email, it's the goddamn cash. It's like, this is why I understand why drug dealers deal in cash, bitch, okay? Where I'm from, they used to talk on payphones. They dealt in cash. It's cash business. Y'all want to be wiring, creating paper trails and shit for yourself. It's always the goddamn money. So anyway, two foreign-born associates, and this is according to NBC News, two foreign-born associates of Rudy Giuliani who gave money to a political action committee, a PAC, supporting Donald Trump, were arrested Wednesday night on criminal charges tied to an alleged effort to influence U.S. politics with illegal campaign contributions. So we already know, I think they released a story about how the NRA had became a Russian asset. So we already know they used the money. And this is why I'm such an advocate for getting rid of big corporations and things like that, being able to contribute monies to campaigns, because this is what we get. They're buying their way in. So Igor Fruman and Lev Parnas made an initial appearance in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia, today. Federal prosecutors said the men had one-way tickets to leave the U.S. when they were arrested at Dulles Airport by the FBI. The two men had no known plans to return, officials said, and no destination was disclosed. Now, allegedly, they was going to Germany. This is some Murder, She Wrote type shit, bitch. I don't like, this is shit that I be seeing on TV that I never think is real. Like, they got one-way tickets, bitch. Okay? One-way tickets. Bitch, they was not coming back. And word on the street, Giuliani had a trip planned, I think that was one way, going to Vienna, bitch. So they already knew they was caught. But they like, fuck it. We ain't from here any goddamn way. I don't give a fuck if I go back to the United States. I'm getting ready to get the fuck up out of here. Our government had enough sense to say, wait a minute, bitch. That B613 office, that back office, see, we keep forgetting about that back office. Y'all think I'll be playing that B613. It was like, wait a minute. Bitch, you caught. So they met him at the airport, bitch. If I were, first off, imagine Tanisha and them that work in TSA, bitch. They just scanning your luggage and shit. She about to go on break. She got her own soda, styrofoam cup. Shit. Minding her business, bitch. And all of a sudden, you see all these government agents just show the fuck up and arrest somebody like it's James Bond, bitch. They giving MI6s all up and through the airport. And if y'all ever been to the airport, where did they arrest them? They arrested them, I think, in Dulles Airport. Like I said, if y'all ever been to Dulles, that's a big motherfucking airport. So they had to be focused to find it. If you ever been to Dulles, bitch, it's giving Star Trek tees with the sculptures and shit. They was waiting for their ass. Okay? So anyway, Parnas told Giuliani's Trump's personal attorney has previously said that Fruman and Parnas worked with him as part of his dealings in Ukraine that involved efforts to encourage that nation to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Parnas told the Miami Herald last week that he and Fruman passed information on the Bidens to Giuliani. Parnas is Ukrainian, while Fruman is Belarusian. I gotta look up where the fuck that is, bitch. I don't know what the fuck that is. According to the indictment unsealed Thursday, the Wall Street Journal was the first to report on the arrest. The Wall Street Journal, they be breaking stories. I guess they said the stock market is not selling enough papers, bitch. We need scandals. The four-count indictment filed in the Southern District of New York and unsealed Thursday includes charges of conspiracy, making false statements to the Federal Election Commission, and falsification of records. The documents allege an elaborate scheme to help an unnamed Ukrainian government official and a person who is described as having Russian roots gain access to U.S. politicians and government officials through campaign contributions in order to advance business and personal financial interests. Okay, at that press conference, investigators said the probe was ongoing. Parnas and Fruman face up to 35 years in prison should they be convicted and receive the maximum sentence on the 4 counts they were charged with. According to the indictment, the two men, along with fellow defendants David Correa and Andrei Kukushkin, conspired, say that 5 times fast, conspired Kukushkin. That sounds like a sushi dish or something. Anyway, okay, never mind. I'm off task. Conspired to circumvent the federal laws against foreign influence by engaging in a scheme to funnel foreign money to candidates for federal and state office so that the defendants could buy potential influence with candidates, campaigns, and the candidates' governments. So, y'all know I'm not the biggest Bernie Sanders fan. However, this is why I really like how he puts an emphasis on individual donors, donations from the people, things like that, because people be buying weed. But this is not, if you've had any type of clue or lived in America or just watched TV, bitch, you know that this is what they do. This is not, something that's uncommon or unfounding. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is some movie shit. A law enforcement official says it would not be accurate to say that two were fleeing because there's no indication that they knew they were going to be indicted. However, multiple people familiar with the matter say the timing of the indictment was moved up because of Parnas and Fruman's tickets to travel. So, bitch, if they already working with foreign governments, Everybody spying on each other. They knew their asses was about to get locked the fuck up. You ain't buying no damn one-way ticket out the country with no destination and ain't shit popping off. Who the fuck does that? Like, that's just crazy to me. They knew their asses getting locked up. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tipped their asses off because he's stupid enough to do it. I wouldn't be surprised if Trump tipped their asses off. Ain't no way in how their asses knew they was getting locked the fuck up. Kukushkin was arrested in San Francisco on Wednesday. Federal investigators said Thursday that Korea is still at large. So they got Kukushkin. Kukushkin ass, he locked up too. But Korea is still at large. He probably hired. He probably got a private plane. His ass is going to somewhere, some remote island. He about to disappear like a motherfucker. Okay. Parnas and Fruman are alleged to have started making illegal campaign contributions in March 2018. So, bitch, they stupid because Trump's already in office, okay? He already done won. He already in there. Y'all was supposed to be chilling. I'm thinking this shit gonna be from like 2016, 2015, 14, shit like that before he got in there. Y'all doing this shit after y'all already got the White House and we already know the Russians is running shit. Okay? So, the purpose of these donations, the indictment claims, was to enhance their political influence, okay? And then gain access to politicians so they can advance personal financial interests of at least one Ukrainian government official with whom they were working. So we already know that they was trying to get Ukraine to investigate Biden. So Ukraine had a plan. See, they all work, everybody's working against each other. So we thinking we want strong on that. Trump think he going to strong on Ukraine and doing some shit to get sanctions lifted and help and all this shit. Whole time, Ukraine got motherfuckers over here that's already working on getting their interests pushed. Everybody's spying on everybody. Additionally, the indictment alleged that the men conspired to make political donations funded by an identified foreign national who was nervous about his Russian roots and current political paranoia about it to politicians and candidates. So, what they was going to do, what this means is, it's really a Russian guy, partially, that wanted to deal with this shit, but because the Russian guy, like, look, it's too hot. I'm gonna lay this down to you in drug dealer terms. So basically, the block is hot. You still the kingpin. You want a new car, but you can't put it in your name. So you get your girlfriend or your baby mother or your grandmother or somebody to put the car in their name, but the whole time you really the one that's gonna be driving it. That's basically what happened. Okay. So the purpose of those donations was to help gain access to recreational marijuana license so that they could form a marijuana business in the United States, according to the document. But that venture did not ultimately come to fruition. Everybody want to sell weed. Bitch, I know y'all is not going to jail over weed. So he wanted to open the Russian guy, the kingpin who couldn't put the car in his name. He wanted to open a weed business, bitch. To open a weed business, he had to get the licenses. Of course, because he on some frou-frou shit, he ain't really supposed to be here probably anyway. He gonna pay the politicians and these Ukrainian dudes to go ahead and get the licenses so he can go ahead and get the business. Okay? Crazy. Okay. So, Fruman and Parnas are charged with making $325,000 in illegal straw donations to a Trump super PAC, according to the indictment, as well as giving $15,000 to a second committee. In May 2018, the two men gave $325,000 to the pro-Trump super PAC America First Action through a LLC, Global Energy Producers. The group confirmed to NBC News. That same month, Parnas posted photos on Facebook of himself and Fruman with Trump and with the president's oldest son, Donald Trump. Jay Sekulow, the president's outside counsel, told NBC News, as the indictment states, neither the president nor the campaign were aware. Bitch, y'all was flicking it up, okay? While the indictment did not name Trump or his campaign, it did not explicitly state that they were unaware. Trump said Thursday that he didn't know the two Giuliani associates. The Trump campaign declined to comment, while John Dowd, an attorney for the two men, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A spokesman for American First Action said Thursday that it had placed that contribution in a segregated bank account. It has not been used for any pay purpose, and the funds will remain in the segregated account until these matters are resolved. We take our legal obligations seriously and scrupulously comply with the law, and any suggestion otherwise is false. The indictment also details a push by Parnas and Fruman to oust then U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, whom Trump recalled from her post earlier this year. The indictment alleges that Parnas met with a congressman identified in the charging document as Congressman 1 in mid-2018 to get assistance with the effort, bitch. So, okay, first off, okay, because we know from the whole conflict, I read this transcript, bitch. This Yovanovitch, she was on the shit. She was with the shits. She knew what was going on. They was trying to get her ass the fuck up out, okay? Which they succeeded in doing. Now, I want to know who this congressman is, bitch. Who is the congressman? Who is the congressman? Who is he? Who is she? Who is it? That's what I'm curious about. Who is the congressman, bitch? Okay? This is some mafia shit. The plot thickens. According to the document, the efforts to oust Yovanovitch were at least partially on behalf of an unnamed Ukrainian official. So all of this shit is starting to tie together. If you're watching this on YouTube, watch my video when I read the transcript. Go back and watch that video, and then read what we read now, bitch, and you're going to put two and two together. This shit is all tying in. It's crazy. Okay. Multiple senior U.S. law enforcement officials told NBC News that Congressman I is former Representative Pete Sessions, a Republican from Texas, bitch. The two men committed to raising $20,000 for the then lawmaker, the indictment alleged. Sessions lost his re-election bid last year. While he was still in office, Sessions wrote a private letter in May 2018 to Secretary of State Mike Pompeo about Yovanovitch. He confirmed to NBC Dallas-Fort Worth Lone Star Politics show last week. So he's saying it too, bitch. He wrote the letter about Yovanovitch. Yovanovitch knew about all this shit. The Associated Press and the journal previously reported that Sessions' letter, a copy of which was obtained by NBC News, asked for Yovanovitch to be removed. The letter, written on congressional letterhead, bitch, they don't even be trying to make this shit discreet. You gonna write the letter on congressional letterhead, bitch? You couldn't go to Staples. You ain't have a notepad somewhere. You doing it on congressional letterhead, bitch. Okay. And dated May 9th, 2018, was addressed directly to Pompeo. The short 3-paragraph missive asked Pompeo to consider terminating her ambassadorship and find a replacement as soon as possible, because Sessions wrote he had received concrete evidence from 2 close companions that Ambassador Yovanovitch has spoken privately and repeatedly about her disdain for the current administration in a way that might call for the expulsion of Ms. Yovanovitch as U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine immediately. In an interview with the journal, Sessions said he did not follow up with Pompeo after sending the letter. Sessions said Thursday he could not confirm he was in fact a congressman in the indictment, but that he would vigorously defend myself against any allegations of wrongdoing. Okay? He said he took no official action after meetings with Furman and Parnas and defended the letter to Pompeo as a separate matter. Separately, after several congressional colleagues reported to me that the current U.S. ambassador to Ukraine was disparaging President Trump to others as part of those official duties, I wrote a letter to the Secretary of State to refer to this matter directly. Okay. All right. So, bitch, this is a lot. This is a lot. So, this is one incident. This is one incident. When they make this one, first off, bitch, you can't put this presidency, you can't put this time frame in a movie. It's given Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, miniseries, 10-week, 1 hour to 2 hour event, bitch. It's given event. I don't want to see a 2 hour movie. You can't fit this shit in 2 hours. It's gotta be a miniseries. I need 13 episodes on order. Okay? That's the bottom line. Can't fit this in 2 hours. Okay? This shit right here, I don't know what was going on. Okay? I mean, they just don't do a great job. Like, they are so brazen. And we say this every week. They're just so brazen in how they do things. Like, you're sending letters on congressional letterhead to get bitches that's already trying to know y'all fucked up, fired. Y'all just doing too much. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing way too much. But that's the scoop on that. So, I got a follow-up to this. So, now this is according to CNN. Okay? Got multiple news sources. Okay, according to CNN, this is 3.5 hours ago. Lev Parnas and Igor Furman, the two associates of President Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, who were charged today with federal campaign finance violations, will be held in detention in Virginia until they each secure $1 million bond, a judge said. Now, first off, they got $1 million. $1 million is going to be easy. They probably sneeze $1 million, so that's nothing. That was the deal prosecutors and the men's defense attorneys reached this afternoon, and the judge agreed to it, sending them back into custody until court officials can approve their paperwork. Furman will use his residence to secure the bond, so he got to put up the house, bitch. He must not have as much money as I thought. While Parnas will use a business, attorneys involved in the case said. So y'all doing other people work and y'all putting up houses and businesses and shit. Like, bitch, y'all ain't got a cash deposit box or something like that. What the fuck? Once released, and maybe that's all they had to put up an actual collateral item. I don't know. I don't go to jail that often, so I couldn't fucking tell you. Now, once released, they will be confined to their homes and wear GPS monitors. With approval, they can travel between the Southern District of Florida, where they live, and the Southern District of New York, where they're charged. They have both surrendered their U.S. passports, which were seized from them at Dulles Airport, and were ordered by the judge to turn over all other travel documents and passports they might have. The pair are also not allowed to discuss the case with one another, though the judge noted that will be difficult to enforce. So, bitch, basically the judge is saying, bitch, don't y'all try to put y'all story together and get y'all story together, bitch. Okay? But they took all that shit. They basically going to be on home monitoring. They going to have an ankle bracelet on, bitch. And I feel like while this is a good score, I don't think that they're like the big fish. I think they just put a leash on them until further notice. But I think it's crazy that they got bond. But if they haven't committed any other crimes, you know how our legal system works, unless you're a black person. But how our legal system works, if you probably haven't committed another crime, even though this is some big shit, they gotta at least give you bail. So, I mean, that makes sense. But you can put GPS on a dog, bitch, no shade. But, anyway, that's how that cookie crumbles. Now, I did a lot of research, and one thing we've been seeing in the news is this U.S.-Turkey conflict. So, you know, a bitch like me, I went and I did my homework, okay? Because I wanted to have for myself, even if y'all don't stay in tune for this, I wanted to have for myself what was going on. So when I researched this U.S.-Turkey conflict that's going on right now, bitch, it's a whole history. So, right now, basically, the U.S. has withdrawn. I'm going to give you the overview, then I'm going to go in. The U.S. has withdrawn their troops from the Syrian-Turkish border. In doing so, Turkey is now like, oh, bitch, y'all gone. We bombing every motherfucking body. You get killed. You get invaded. You get bombed. Everybody get bombed. Okay? Now, the reason why they're doing this is because they don't like the Kurdish troops that are there. just to give you a little background on the Kurdish troops, okay? Little background, I got highlights, bitch. Little background on the Kurdish troops. Sir, okay. Where we at? 2011, give me a moment. Okay. All right, so I'm going to give you why Turkey don't like the Kurds, okay? And what we have to do with the Kurdish troops, okay? All right? Now, the Kurds and the war on ISIS. After a 2011 uprising in Syria against the government devolved into a full-blown civil war, ISIS fighters seeking to establish a fundamental Islamist government took advantage of the chaos and swept in, taking control of large pieces of the country. The U.S. saw this as a threat to regional security and decided to militarily push back. So basically, Syria went up in arms. This was a whole thing. I remember this happening vaguely. They rebelled, civil war, civil government. But bitch, y'all ain't got shit in place. So ISIS was like, all right, bitch, y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all ain't got this together. Bloop, we'll take over. The U.S. was like, oh, fuck that shit. Y'all ain't fucking our shit out. Bam, we gonna strike back. In order to defeat ISIS, the U.S. allied for years with Kurdish fighters who toiled on the ground while the U.S.-led coalition mainly dropped bombs from the sky. So this was during the Obama era, okay? So basically the Kurdish fighters was on the ground fucking shit up, and we was just in the planes fucking shit up, dropping bombs, okay? As they rooted the terrorist organization out from the northern parts of Syria, Kurdish forces, which were known as the People's Protection Units before they joined with other fighters and became a bigger Syrian democratic force, took control of the territory. So bam, boop. All right, they got together and like, all right, ISIS, we driving y'all out. Fuck that. Okay. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Now, we using the Turks to fight ISIS because we don't want ISIS to get bigger. But whole time, Turkey like, fuck that shit. We don't fuck with them Kurds. Here's why I said Turks, bitch. We don't fuck with the Kurdish people, and here's why. So, Turkey was never happy about that partnership. Why? Because they complained that the Syrian Kurds, who had close ideological ties to the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or the PKK, which is a terrorist organization. So they complained that the Syrian Kurds, so the Kurdish troops that we were basically supplying weapons and shit for, okay, to fight ISIS, were a terrorist organization for against Turkey. So Turkey like, bitch, they fucking our country up, they doing shit, and y'all gonna give them weapons to fight? I know y'all trying to fight ISIS and all that, but we ain't got shit to do with that. Y'all fucking our shit up, okay? So, that Turkish Kurdish group, the PKK, okay, had been fighting a bloody war for independence from Turkey since the late 70s. So, this Turkish Kurdish group, basically a terrorist organization. They've been waging war in Turkey, insurgents and all that shit since the 70s. But when the Trump administration helped them acquire territory in Syria north, which borders Turkey south, it proved a step too far. So they kept it cute. Okay? They kept it cute. Turkey was like, we don't really fuck with this, Obama, but we gonna keep it cute. But then Trump helped them acquire Syria's north. So the northern border of Syria borders Turkey's south border. So north-south, okay? They ain't like that shit because you're too close to our goddamn border. So the president of Turkey, President Erdogan, responded by sending Turkish troops into northern Syria to fight Kurdish forces off in January of last year, throwing the U.S.-led anti-ISIS campaign in jeopardy. Okay. Now, you may say, ISIS is bad, which I'm sure they are. I'm not empathizing with ISIS at all. B613, they fucked up shit. Okay. But Turkey, like, for them, ISIS is like merely a security problem. Meaning ISIS isn't really that big. It's an issue, but it's not an issue that they can't deflect right now. For them, the YPG, which is that Kurdish group in Syria that we're helping fight ISIS, okay, they're like a real problem for them because they are supposedly tied to this other group of Kurdish people that are infiltrating Turkey and, doing terrorism and shit like that. So, Trump said he wants to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria, but his advisors warned that Turkey would likely launch a full-scale invasion to rid the Kurds from northern Syria. Washington then seeks Turkey's guarantee that it won't attack America's allies there if U.S. troops come home. So basically, Turkey, the White House is like, look, bitch, if we leave, please leave these people alone. And Turkey like, fuck that. Once y'all get up out of there, we going ham on these bitches. Okay? That's basically what happened. So, during a trip to Israel in January this year, National Security Advisor John Bolton, who been fired, so he ain't even there no more, reiterated that point. We don't think the Turks ought to undertake military action that's not fully coordinated and agreed with by the United States at a minimum so they don't endanger our troops. Bolton told reporters in Jerusalem, referring to the roughly 2,000 U.S. troops in the area advising the Kurdish fighters. So he like, we ain't trying to have our soldiers fucked up, which y'all understand. Y'all fall back, chill. Okay, so without a guarantee for the Kurds' safety and to fight off any ISIS remnants, Trump reportedly decided to keep around 1,000 troops in Syria. Okay, now, experts say unless the U.S. considers the Kurds as much of a threat as Turkey does, which isn't going to happen, or Turkey stops worrying about the Kurds, which isn't going to happen, both countries will continue to squabble over this issue indefinitely. Okay, so, to give you a background on the president in Turkey, did you guys follow that? Okay, did you guys follow that? I feel like we learning some shit today, bitch. This is our research. Y'all gonna listen to this motherfucking book report. Now, just to give you insight on Erdogan, okay? Now, it is a lot of this going around. Like, if you notice, we've been reporting on it. We've been, reading about these global elections and things like that. Erdogan is basically Turkey's version of Vladimir Putin. So I'm going to read you some background on him. Erdogan has held power in Turkey for 16 years. First as the country's prime minister from 2003 to 2014, bitch, imagine having those type of terms, and then as president. He also seemingly stopped at nothing to preserve his authority. He has silenced his challengers, jailed dozens of journalists, and changed the Turkish constitution to favor him. Okay, in July 2016, a faction of the Turkish military, claiming to speak for the entire Turkish armed forces, aimed to oust Erdogan, despite the fact that Erdogan and his party were democratically elected. But the attempt failed, mainly because large portions of the military sided with their president. So, bitch, check this out. So, basically, if you've seen Black Panther, basically this way, Nakia is like, fuck that, let's overthrow Killmonger, bitch. And then the rest of the military is like, Okoye's ass, my loyalty is to this throne, and whoever sits on it, my loyalty is to the country. So that's basically what the fuck happened. Nakia got her ass beat, bitch. Now, Turkey's presidency, check this out, used to be a primarily ceremonial role, while the country was mainly ruled by a prime minister and a parliamentary democracy. So they had a parliament, prime minister, the president was pretty much a figurehead. But in 2017, after that uprising, bitch, Erdogan was like, fuck that shit. He issued a referendum, okay, through his party, that abolished the prime minister's role. So he said, fuck it. Ain't no prime minister, bitch. All this shit is over. And cleared the way for him to extend the limits of his authority. Okay, without evidence, Erdogan blames a Turkish clerk. So here's another thing too. Remember about this I don't know if you remember the hostage talks, the prisoners of war talks that we're having. Well, not prisoner of war, but they had prisoners, bitch. Now, without evidence, blamed the Turkish cleric named Fethullah Gulen for instigating the July 2016 coup attempt and called for his immediate return to Turkey to stand trial. The problem, bitch, is that he lived in Pennsylvania. Okay, so Trump like, fuck that. We ain't sending him over to Turkey so y'all can kill this man. We keeping him. So Turkey, okay, took a U.S. pastor, some random ass U.S. pastor, Andrew Brunson, okay, and charged him with unproven crimes and claimed that he was involved in terrorism. Bitch, he just grabbed anybody in the room. Trump was personally invested in bringing Brunson home, going so far as to impose heavy tariffs on Turkey last August until the pastor's release. That was a major move since Turkey is America's 5th largest export market. The sanctions hurt Turkey pretty much, and the lira, which is their former currency, plunged to a record low against the dollar last year. So it worked. Now, another reason, bitch. Now, I'm going to give you, before we get into this third reason, because Russia, Vladimir, he's pulling everybody's strings, okay? He's pulling everybody's strings, and I see y'all with me. We're going in tonight. This is one of them real sermons, bitch. We haven't had a key like this in a minute. But before we get into the key with Vladimir Putin, bitch, let me give you some background on the United States and Turkey's relationship. Because from afar, and maybe some of you think this, maybe some of you don't, I always thought U.S. and Turkey was cool. I thought we was homeboys, you know what I'm saying? But evidently not. So, let me go back, bitch, because I got to tell the story in different orders. Now, the U.S. and Turkey have often disagreed on foreign policy, particularly toward the Middle East. One reason is that Ankara, which is the capital of Turkey, always thinks that that Washington doesn't take their security concerns seriously. Okay. The U.S. is concerned about Turkey's growing friendship with Russia and acceleration away from democracy. Okay. The Trump administration also played a role in the breakdown of ties. Trump placed tough sanctions on Turkey last August, which we just found out, and at one point vowed to devastate the country's economy. So Turkey already like, we don't fuck with y'all because you trying to fuck with our money. Now, Turkey joined NATO, okay, in 1951, at which point both U.S. and Turkey worked together to counter the Soviet Union during the Cold War. America and its other allies focused more on threats to Western Europe, leaving Turkey to act as a heavily armed defense wall against Moscow's advances in the Middle East and the Black Sea. So everybody else was like, all right, bitch, we going to focus on the threats to Europe, bitch. You handle Vladimir's ass, or whoever's in charge at the time of Russia. Now, two events changed that. The first, of course, the Cold War ended. Okay, so once the Cold War was over, Russia was devastated. Turkey was like, bitch, we got some unresolved issues that we need to discuss. The second event was the aftermath of the 1991 Gulf War, which my uncle served in. He's a Navy SEAL. After the U.S. military kicked out Iraqi forces from Kuwait, then President George H.W. Bush, worried about Baghdad's repression of the Kurdish people. Once again, these Kurdish people in the north of Iraq, America therefore imposed a no-fly zone, meaning warplanes couldn't operate in a defined airspace without the threat of retribution over that part of the country. While it did protect thousands of Kurds from slaughter, the Kurds also decided during this time to push for their own state, Kurdistan, within Iraq. That was something the Turks strongly opposed. Turkey has been fighting a decades-long insurgency of Kurdish separatists inside Turkey, remember the PKK, and thus considers growing Kurdish power to be a security problem. And yet, here was the U.S. providing military cover while the Kurds aimed to establish their own government near Turkey's southeastern border. So basically, we've been defending these Kurdish people. The Turks don't really like the Kurds. The Kurds want pretty much independence and want their own government, which I'm not mad at anybody for wanting. I don't know the full details of Turkey and the Kurds. That's something we have to research for another day. But this does give you background on what all is going on. Now, here's where shit gets big, bitch. Now, here's where Vladimir comes into play. Okay? Are y'all following me or you still here? Okay? I feel like we're learning a lot tonight. Now, I'm getting ready to wrap this up because I want to watch the forum. But, bitch, this is the season finale right here. Now, Russia and the S-400 missile defense system. Okay? The latest conflict rolling Washington and Ankara is over an anti-aircraft missile system. One that Russia wants to sell to Turkey. Okay? So it's a missile defense system that shoots planes out the air that Russia wants to sell Turkey. Okay? The Turkish government has pushed hard to get one for years because it's one of the nation's biggest defense gaps. So basically they don't have one. Some experts say Ankara especially wants it now because of that 2016 coup attempt. At that point, the people that was trying to overthrow Erdogan had rogue military pilots flying fighter jets with the intention of ousting Erdogan. Such a system could help the president shoot down those planes. So after that coup, bitch, he was like, oh, okay, y'all want to get in y'all planes and fly, bitch? Russia, give me this shit, because we shooting all their asses down out the sky. Okay? Now, the United States and some European countries assumed Turkey would buy the platform from one of them. After all, they say, a U.S. or European-made system will work more seamlessly with NATO militaries because they use similar software, radars, and even troops to provide maintenance. So they don't care if Turkey has the defense system, but bitch, buy it from us. So basically, NATO is like Apple, okay? So NATO, all the allies is like, bitch, you supposed to have Apple. Why is you going over to an Android? Why is you going to Samsung, bitch? This is Apple. All of our shit is Apple products. You need an Apple product. Why are you going to get this Android? But Turkey looked elsewhere, specifically towards China and Russia. And you know what's going on with China, and you know what's going on with Russia. So Turkey is giving the middle finger to everybody. They giving all NATO, they fucking middle finger. In 2013, Ankara initially said it agreed to purchase a Beijing-made system before changing its mind. That once again opened the competition to the U.S. and Europe. But in a somewhat surprising move, Turkey then agreed to buy Russia's S-400 system in 2017 for $2.5 billion. Experts say the U.S. fears that the Russian system could pose a threat to the 100 U.S.-made F-35 fighter jets that Turkey purchased, partly because the system's radar could potentially collect intelligence from the plane and send it back to Russian spies. Okay? That worry is a bit overblown, though, especially since F-35s already fly near China, for example. So the U.S. is like, bitch, we already frenemies at this point. We ain't really fucking with each other. And you gonna get this Russian system. What's to stop you from showing them our technology, bitch, and they know how to hack the planes? Next thing you know, F-35s is just falling out the sky and blowing the fuck up. Okay? Now, but Turkey won't relent. As Erdogan said made clear on Monday, we have determined our roadmap for the S-400. He said shortly after meeting Vladimir Putin in Moscow. No one can expect us to give this up. So they like, bitch, we're buying from the Russians. Russia plans to start delivery of the system in July, and they're going to turn it on in October. I'm assuming this is in 2020. As a result, the U.S. this week announced that it would block necessary equipment to operate the F-35 unless it cancels the Russian order. So basically the U.S. is like, oh, you want to buy from Russia, bitch? We ain't sending you no more. Okay, so basically we acting like IKEA. You got all of the wood, but you ain't got none of them screws, like 85 of them missing. You ain't got none of the tools, bitch. That's basically what they said. So, in short, you're welcome. The U.S. and Turkey in a nutshell. I'm bringing to you every ball. Not to be cocky, but bitch, this is what we did. Okay? Now, that's pretty much it. Did we learn anything? Leave something in the comments. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope you got something out of it. I feel like we learned a lot today. And it's a lot from it. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click the bell for notifications and everything. Subscribe to me on YouTube as Secretary of Shade. Make sure you log in there. Instagram at GODDM. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the Science Center October 26th. West Coast cabinet members, if you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, I will be there November 3rd to perform at El Rio. I'll also be flying in that Friday evening, so I'll be there that whole weekend. Maybe I could set up a live read or something in San Francisco, or maybe I'll do a cabinet meeting live from the West Coast. But I love doing this with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Now when you look at the turkey shit, bitch, you won't be clueless. And we'll stay tuned. I'll talk to you guys sometime later this weekend. Of course, follow my updates on Facebook. We may meet Sunday, depending on what's going on. There's a lot going on here. But as always, it's great talking to you guys. You have a great evening. I'm getting ready to order me some DoorDash, even though they've been trying it lately. And watch Black Lightning and flip between this and this LGBT panel. Y'all be safe. Have a great night. And I'll see you soon.